appointed by the commissioners. Then they're planning to do a presentation on some of the stuff they've done. Scott will be the liaison until they find somebody for Dusty's position, and they had 2 interviews at that point for Dusty's position, so I don't know if they've hired anybody or not. At the next meeting, we're supposed to have a presentation from EPS, and kept the same president and vice president, our chair and co-chair, vice chair, Don and Jim, and then Bruce went on a rant and everybody left. They did mention the New Windsor Future program but they don't have enough data yet to present anything on it. That was it.
So they need to fill a couple of
2 positions. Yes, and if you know somebody who might be interested, or if you're interested or whatever, they need to get them to Scott, and I don't remember his last name. Do you know?
Moser?
Probably with the Bureau of Solid Waste, sorry.
He's the deputy director.
Oh,
One
yeah.
of the deputy directors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the head honcho there that we're supposed to send that kind of stuff to. So at this point, there's nothing else going on there. And our next meeting is in March. March should be the first week of March. I can give you the date. It's a public meeting, so anybody who wants to attend is more than happy to attend. And it's not on that paper. It must be on the one that they... I think it's like March 3rd or something like that. No, March 7th. The next meeting for SWAC is Thursday, March 7th.
Where do they meet?
Room 120, I think, is where they met.
Is it the one next to Permit's office?
I don't know. I come in the front door and I go down past the cashier, and it's down there somewhere.
Oh, 105.
105, that's it. 105. Sorry about that. I just go to it so often that, see, they're not recorded either. They're not televised.
They're not public.
Yes, they are a public.
Oh.
It is a public meeting. They have to allow anybody come in that wants to come in. They just don't have to allow you to talk.
Most of the boards and commission meetings are not recorded.
Why are we special?
Yeah, why are we so visible?
I don't know.
I mean, I don't have a problem with it. I think it's great that we're visible.
I do too.
And I think it originated because this is several years ago, but was actually requested by the EIC members to record.
I do remember that when we started back up, when Kevin was the chair, Kevin, the old mayor, not Utz, the other
Yeah,
Kevin. Doherty? No. Whatever his last name was. That it started back up, and it was over at Carroll Community College. And when they came here to this room, then they started taping it, because it was, besides, it was less of the commissioners telling us what to do and more of citizens coming in with environmental questions, issues, concerns that we were researching. So I guess that's why they taped it, so that they could, when they came in with concerns, we would make sure we got it right.
Did you see the press release, though, about New Windsor's
Did I- no, I
program?
did not.
No, what did it say?
It's on the county website that they'd, solid waste decreased by 44%, and nearly doubled its recycling rate from, 21 to 38.
And
Is it
how
you
much?
said year over year, or?
No, from the pilot program.
Yeah,
Future.
pays you for
And was this, did somebody, review what got put into recycling?
I don't know that part, but
That-
I mean,
that
this
would be
came from
my
Zero
concern.
Waste, and I think they posted it on the county website. Yeah, for Waste Zero.
I'm done with this fact. Unless anybody else has any other questions.
Staff liaison secretary report?
Okay, next month, of course, we'll continue working on the single-use plastic bag report. And we may have an update from the awards committee. But I mean, we might have environmental stewardship booklet on there if I get the information I need in time, but if not, it will be March. So the bulk of next meeting will be the single-use plastic bag report. Financial disclosure statements. So everybody should have gotten an email that said that don't fill them out. They were, apparently the ethics law changed, and so they were revising the form and sending out new ones. I just got that today. So I put a hard copy in the packets in front of you. I can also email it out so that everybody has the electronic copy. They do not need to be notarized anymore, so that's a good thing that helps, you know, take a little bit of complication out of it. There is more information that they're requesting in it, but so, and you'll have, instead of January 31st, if you can get them back in by the end of February, will be good. So I won't need to have somebody here at the meeting to notarize because they don't need to be notarized. So I'll go ahead and email the what I gave you in hard copy there, but if you don't need it, you can just use what I printed. You may have heard that we're having some security changes to the building. They're going to tighten the security a little bit starting next week. So make sure when you come in that you have your ID badges. I'm not quite sure how they're treating boards and commissions at this point. The commissioners are announcing information tomorrow. I know for general, you know, if you're not county employees, typically they're going to ask for ID and you have to sign in and sign out. And you need to go through the receptionist, you know, rather than just walking in. Said I'm not sure how that'll work in terms of boards and commissions. You may be able to go in, but when I get more information on that, I'll let you know if I find out anything. But just make sure you is it not on? Am I not talking loud enough?
Speaking of public meeting.
Just make sure you have it with you. And I'm also not sure, because if you aren't a county employee and you have to sign in and all that stuff, you'll have to be escorted to and from the reception area when you come and go. So if that winds up being the case, then...
Even to the public meeting room down here?
Yes.
So what's driving this, do you know?
I'm not sure. Security issues have been talked about for a long time. I think it's just...
I'm just surprised they
moving
don't have a metal detector in the doorway. I really am.
I mean, they have that in a lot of other places, but...
You have it in the courthouses. I mean, your county commissioners are here. I would think they would have it here, but they don't. You have it in certain banks that you go into. You walk in the front door. You can't go any further until you pass through the metal detector. And then the door will buzz and turn green, like turns green, and then you can go in the same way when you go out.
There's the word for that. It's security theater. Makes you feel safer, but it
Doesn't make me
probably
feel
doesn't
safer. It makes me
do
feel like
much.
it's a pain in the
waste
patootie.
of money.
All right, so if I get any more information other than what I just told you, I will send it to you. The last thing that I wanted to talk about is we're meeting with the commissioners for our annual joint meeting on February the 7th. It's from 1 to 2:30 in this room, so it's an hour and a half. We have a little bit longer this year because we do have new commissioners this year. And I put in front of you in your packets the talking points for the meeting. So, you know, every year I always prepare talking points so you have a general sense what kind of information to cover. And, you know, we usually want to be as brief as we can because they do have the information in front of them. But the agenda is the same as usual. You know, we have introductions, the role of the EAC, go over the annual report, and go over the proposed work plan. But I've been asked to give a PowerPoint on the role of the EAC since we do have new commissioners. So so that'll take a little bit more time than usual, adding that in. For the annual report review, usually the chair reviews that. So I was going to assume that Frank will do that, and then we just need to figure out who wants to cover the pieces of the work plan projects.
I
No.
can cover anything you want me to. I will be there.
And I will put on the calendar, I'll try to do that tomorrow. I didn't want to confuse things with other meetings on the calendar, but I'll put on tomorrow the meeting on the 7th so that everybody can respond and we know who's coming. So we just need to know who is willing to, like, so we could have, I don't know if you want somebody different to do each one. That might be a little too much, switching people that quickly, but we can do it however you want. 2 people can do it, 1 person can do
I
it.
can speak to whatever, you want me to do.
Okay.
Same here.
Yeah, I mean, it'll help too, but like you said, if you want everybody, it'll be forever.
Hodgepodge, yeah.
Well, no, you're just gonna go over what you're basically gonna tell them exactly what it says there.
I know.
Short and
One
sweet.
person could do that.
Yeah, but it's nice to let them know
Shift
that
over.
more than one person can talk on the commission, on the council.
Yeah, that's true. They
Yeah,
can read.
let them know that we actually do converse and it's not just a one-person council.
Do you want to have 2 people do it? I mean, Craig, you could do the ones on this page, and Ellen could do the ones on the second page, or however you want to.
However you want to do it, Brenda, when you give me what I have to do, I'll do it. How's that?
Does that work for you, Craig?
That's fine.
Okay, I'll also email this out with the names filled in. And then at some point, I think I mentioned this at the last meeting, we need to get another group photo of all the members of the EAC together because we don't have one. I'm not sure when we did the awards, we even have everybody here. But I know we won't have everybody here at least until April, so, because somebody has already said for at least today, February, and March that they won't be here, so. If we're all gonna be here in April, plan on a group photo.
Okay.
Can I wear a mask? I don't do pictures.
Shave yourself up. Get a haircut.
Just blend in with everybody.
Hide behind somebody, okay.
All right, I think that's all that I have. Oh,
We included another member contact for the 26th time. So if you could just verify your information one more time. Hopefully yours is correct this time, David.
It is. I just looked. Yep.
oh, and because November was our last meeting, it seems like so long ago, but that's why you have copies of the proposed work plan and a report that were approved now, because they were approved back at November 28th. So that's in your packet there, too. And those will be provided to the commissioners before their meeting, so hopefully they'll have a chance to review it.
All right, we'll move to new business. The environmental stewardship booklet has some updating going on.
All right, I'll just give you, I just want to run through quickly what has been updated and give you the status here. So this is one of those things that all the information has to come from staff. So generally, I just send out the request for the updates and then bring it back to you when it's updated. Nothing was updated on the first page. On the second 2 pages is land conservation and preservation. So that's where our ag preservation program is. And we updated the acres that have been preserved, both through our program and through the Rural Legacy. So if you can see in the sidebar there, we've got over 71,000 acres permanently preserved in the county now. And our goal is 100,000 acres, so we're progressing very well. You move to the next page, pages 4 and 5
Do you know
is
the total acreage in the county?
289,000, little, plus minus.
So it'd only be a third. You got the 100,000. Yeah.
Well, we have a lot of developed areas that are
Right.
included in that 289,000.
Right.
So the agriculture programs and BMPs, you'll see a lot of yellow on this page because this information comes from the Maryland Water Quality Cost Share Program called MAX, and it comes out of their annual report, and that will not be released until mid-February. So I do not have that information yet, so the yellow information here will be updated. Anything yellow in here is yet to be updated. If you flip to pages 6 and 7, the acreage information in the last paragraph for the park section was updated. We have the easement on the next page on the sidebar there, the acreage that's yellow, that will be updated. I don't have that information yet. We flip to environmental codes on pages 8 and 9. There might have been a little bit of text updated on the top of page 9 there. And then the acreage in the sidebar was updated as well for the forest conservation acres. Most of the text remains the same because that doesn't have to change too much. And flip over to page 10, and the bottom of page 10, you see on November 8th, the Board of Commissioners directed staff. That was an update because that relates to an amendment process that occurred within this time frame. On the next several pages under urban stormwater mitigation, all of the numbers have been updated because we've updated to reflect actual costs rather than budgeted where appropriate, and also it extends out, the 6-year capital period extends out to 2024 now instead of 2023, and whatever the budget amount may have changed as well in the capital project. So all those figures and the graphs and the numbers in the sidebars here all were updated. The acreage on page 13 for stream buffer initiatives, the acreage was updated, and I did try to pare down the text a little bit in that section. It's a little bit longer than some of the sections because we had more information to add and we needed to make sure we had space. Under the public outreach section, there are a few dates in here that were updated. But most of this stuff remained in place the whole time. I mean, the past 2 years. If you flip to page 16 under septics, I got updated information on the sidebar there from the health department. So that's new information. Under solar energy, of course, the SolSmart designation is a new item. So we had to talk about that and that great accomplishment. Under the zoning information remained the same. Under permitting, based on our SolSmart designation information, we were able to change the business days it takes to process a permit from 10 to 15 to 5 to 7. And then I updated the information from permits on solar permits there in the sidebar. And I think I updated a date under the county solar projects, but I checked on the progress of that, and they might be making progress, but not something that would be reflected here. And under solid waste and recycling, you see yellow text there. Maria Myers is still waiting for the figures to come out from Maryland Department of Environment so that we can update that. And I believe what comes out is actually it's like a year behind whenever it comes out. So that would still probably be 2017 numbers. Under the Water Resource Coordination Council, I added the bottom paragraph there. In October, our Water Resource Coordination Council also received a worldwide recognition for being a utility of the future for their partnering and engagement activity area that they have because of their coordination and the cooperative efforts between the towns and the county. So, and you can see the pictures for it there. So that was added. And on the last page, under the EAC, I added some bulleted items. We had some extra space because I had to add a couple pages. So I bulleted some items that have been accomplished in the past couple years here. And of course, that will be updated in 2 years when we update it again. And then, of course, I added, you can see on the sidebar where there's like little images of those reports. And the other thing I added is in the green box below, just a couple bits of, in fact, here's the information you were looking for,
There's the
Kurt.
289,000.
Mm-hmm.
Just a couple tidbits of information in case people look at this and they wonder. The population, total acres, total square miles, number of towns. So that's what has been updated, and so we will still give a draft of this to the commissioners on the 7th, just so they can see some of the work that you've been doing, and we'll just let them know, because there's yellow text that this is not done yet, it's still a draft, and that will come out hopefully in March, once we get the information. And so anticipating being able to approve this at the March meeting, assuming that that MAX report comes out in mid-February as it's supposed to. So really, there's not much you have to do at this point. This is all just informational. Once I get this information completed, I will send you out a revised, final draft. Any questions on it?
I would,
Awesome work again.
yeah, it looks great.
Yeah.
And I know you need to update a few things. The margins on, just a couple things that caught my eye. The margins on the left side, and I know we're trying to squeeze a lot in without making this too much longer, but you might benefit from a little more margin on the left side. If is this gonna be a booklet? Is like a booklet?
Yeah.
Yeah, it just gets, it's
To
like
be
going
in the crease.
8, it's like 11 by 17, and it gets folded in half and it gets stapled in a crease.
Mm-hmm.
So the margin will really.
So I would just
Not
take it-
quite as bad when you do it that way as it looks like this.
Yeah, but I noticed some of them have more margin than others. So I don't know. I would just take another look at the margins as you update
Must
the
be a printer
draft.
issue. I'll see if I
Could be.
can,
Yeah.
the only way I can fix that is to make the text a little smaller, so I'll see what I can do.
Yeah, because you don't want to change content on.
And we can't change number of pages because it has to be in increments of 4,
Ah,
since you use the 11 by 17 and fold it.
You might be able to lessen the thickness of the sidebar background. I don't. Yeah, you could take your artistic liberties there, but
I'll figure it out, don't worry.
yeah. And then what was the one other thing caught my eye? Oh yeah, I like your covers of our environmental council reports.
On the last page.
On the very last page. I like that. I noticed the one furthest in the background, the title is slightly obscured. It might be nice to, bump the one in the middle a little bit, and we can see the full title on all of those, or just an aesthetic change.
Okay.
Yeah, I like it.
I did notice something else. There's another issue on page,
There is a blank table that's showing that isn't actually there.
yeah, that's it.
Yep. This is just a
Page
draft.
7. I didn't know if it was
For some
just
reason,
that.
because I tracked changes on it, there were some empty tables showing, but then when you try to delete it, it says it's marked deleted text, so, but I'll that won't happen on the final, because I'll have accepted all the changes, and, there won't be this track change thing going on. It's still on, that's why it's looking funny there.
What impressed me is all the different activities involved in the county. I had no idea that the breadth of what's going on. So, to me, that's a great summary of what's going on in the county. It's a real, for me, it was an eye-opener.
I guess that was sort of the
I don't know how many people
commissioner's
read this, but
intention when they first requested us to do this several years ago.
Yeah, I mean,
I
that's
thought it
very
was-
true. I mean, even as we try to stay in tune with everything, I mean, everything that's going on with, Water Resources Coordination Council and all the different programs is,
My
Yeah, I thought
understanding
it
was they
tuned in
wanted it
until I
for
read
the,
this,
to bring business into the community, to show them that we were an environmentally responsible county, and they could come here and do business.
That's a good use for it, too.
And for homeowners.
Okay,
All right, and next is the business in progress, the residential gray water public outreach.
okay, this will be very quick because there isn't any change. Frank had asked that we keep it on here just to remind us that, you know, we're waiting for this information, but there's no change, that MD still has not drafted any regulations and released them, so that's still on hold.
Okay, then the single-use plastic report.
Okay, and everybody should have gotten a copy of this last Friday. Of course, this is still draft, and the formatting won't be added until we're done going through it. But I did add in the little table of contents so that you know that'll be there. And some of the comments that had been made prior, I tried to address them. I think there's a few remaining. But mostly what still needed to be added was text for the options and pros and cons or other considerations. I think some of the pros and cons on previous sections, and then other considerations under the options. So mostly number 7 is all new for you, and we haven't talked about that before. It was just a sort of skeleton pieces in there prior. I'm not sure how you want to approach this.
Right.
Do you want to?
Does anybody have comments on
Well,
it? or-
I noticed a couple of the comments in the sidebar track changes had to do with contributions I had made. I can touch on those real quick. But like I said, I've been out of town for the last couple of weeks and haven't had a chance to tackle these, but it looks like mostly issues with sources. So it looks like maybe one of these was
On page 5.
improved. Yeah, yes, page 5. I'll take another look at these and come up with a better citation. If one of the, yeah, you're right. I did check one of these today. The second comment, number 2. No, the one that number 3, security warning. It has a HTTPS web address, but it comes up as if it's not a secure web address. So yeah, we should probably replace that with another citation. And so all three of those are citation related. I'll go into the document and tackle those as soon as possible.
Yeah, it says, since it says it's not a secure thing, I don't move forward with it, you know. I'm sure the county tech services probably wouldn't like that. Okay, so you'll look into those things.
On number 7, we're getting to the new content here. Number 7, just formatting and not content.
Well, don't worry about the
Okay, we'll leave
formatting.
it. Okay, I was looking at from 7 to 1 to A. Yeah, so that's formatting. We can come back, we can circle back to that next time.
Like I said, this is not, all of that will be taken care of when we get this. It's not as easy to format stuff in Google Docs, so I'm not worried about it until I take it out of there into Word and finalize it.
I mean, I have some comments, but they're minor, and I think I'll just send you the updated, I put my comments in the document you sent out, so I'll just send that to you and you can look at it, but
Okay.
it's just some suggestions, basically a little bit more visualization.
Oh, yeah, and I guess I should say that too. You know, usually I don't add any graphics while it's still in Google Docs because they do not transfer back and forth very well.
Yeah,
So I'll add that when we do when I pull down in Word to do the actual final formatting, I'll make it look nice. I'll make sure all those things are corrected in terms of the formatting, and I'll add graphics, and it'll look much better then.
I thought this really reads nice. I thought it's very easy to understand, and it went not too deep. It went deep, but not deep enough where it helped you explain a lot of the whole mystery of the plastic bag domain. So I think it's a good elementary, catches you up where we are today in the plastic bag dilemma, and it is a dilemma.
Under number 2, the create incentives to promote reduced usage, and you're talking about reusable bags. What they really should do is start like a drop-off place for reusable bags for those of us who go to conventions and come home with 20, 30 reusable bags, and, you know, family make fun of you and call you the bag lady, but there's always reusable bags in my house and in my car and in my husband's truck and my kids' cars, because I go to one conference a year, and when I walk through the exhibit hall, that's one of the main giveaways.
It's true.
So it's, you know, one of those type of things where they could, that's something they could think about, is offering a place to drop off those reusable bags for others to share in.
Rather than
Not the
having to
cost.
buy, someone having to
Right.
buy one.
Yeah. Unless, of course, you come across some of the older Aldi bags, the big ones, and I will buy them from you, because they don't have them anymore. They were the nice canvas type material, and they're like this long by this wide by this tall, and you can put a whole lot of box goods in there when you're shopping.
Okay.
So you were still waiting back, like, for information on, like, what, if the commissioners decide to take a particular route, let's say a fee or a tax, whether that's, you know, obviously would have to go through the General Assembly, right? Or you're not quite sure
Yeah, I still gotta,
what the process
I
is.
still gotta follow up on that one, yeah. Although I can tell you that Commissioner Frazier, when they met with the delegation in December or November, he requested that the delegation sponsor a bill that would authorize us to, you know, adopt legislation. So very likely, it does have to be legislation at the state level to authorize to do it. But I do have to confirm that.
Right. I mean, it's kind of curious that Prince George's didn't allow Prince George's to approve a ban or tax in different years.
For the state legislature, really?
The
yet
county government is not a charter government, so they have to go to the state legislative in order to do those kind of things. If they were a charter government like your municipalities are, they could enact their own ordinances, regulations, fees, taxes, things.
So how did Montgomery County
Yeah.
pass it? Because, I mean, Montgomery County's been charging for bags for a long time.
It's 2015.
Yeah, or at least a couple of years. Seems odd that Montgomery County can do it and PG can't.
That's what I was wondering. It didn't
Just
make
seems
sense.
very odd.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, you go anywhere, it's going to cost you anywhere from 5 cents to 25 cents for a
Everybody's
bag.
trained, everybody brings their own bags in.
That's right. Every now and then I forget when I cross into Montgomery County, and I'm like, oh, crap, I didn't bring my bag in.
Yeah,
Well, it brings up another thing. The Sierra Club has some information. They did a survey a couple years ago about bag use in grocery stores. I didn't know if it was worth, if you wanted to include it, you know, I can get it. Some of it. What they did was compare Montgomery County to Prince George's, where Montgomery has the fee, and they had like 57% of people brought reusable bags. Another 18% didn't even use bags, compared to like 8% in Prince George's County using reusable bags.
Yeah, well, if I happen to tiptoe into Montgomery County, if I go into a store, it's usually because I need a couple of small things. I'm not going there to do my weekly shopping. I cram everything in my purse and my coat pockets. I said, oh, no, I don't need a bag.
yeah, but if you live there, it's different.
But yeah, but I'm just saying, I would bring bags then. But I'm saying I can understand why there's a certain percentage of people who simply don't use the bags because they've run in to pick up something up and they just realized where they were.
Of course, the grocery store that I shop at, you either bring your own bags or you buy bags there, and they are reusable bags, or you hope that they have cardboard boxes from
Boxes you can
putting
borrow.
stuff out on the shelf. And that's why I shop there, because they're severely less expensive.
I'd be curious what's going on there between those two counties.
Apparently too, they did compare it, with income areas too, to, it's Montgomery County, be a little more.
There's a big difference in income, yeah.
Yeah, but, they did relate that to, comparable income areas, and
Ah.
it was still pretty much the same as far as usage.
Oh, so maybe that was it, right? If you said that
Is
they did compare within each county
And
comparable
the
income.
reusable bag usage, was still maintained.
I do know that I have some neighbors who would be having a problem if they weren't able to go to the grocery store and get the plastic bags, because that's what they use when they clean up behind their pets and things like that. And when she scoops out the litter out of the cat box, she scoops it into that bag and ties it shut.
You could get doggy bags, they're smaller.
Get what?
They do sell bags for that are smaller than the grocery bags.
True, but you just said the operative word, whereas right now, they're getting those bags, their groceries in those bags, and it's not costing them anything.
They think. As
Well-
you pointed out, groceries are cheaper when they're in stores where you don't,
Yeah, when you go to Aldi,
yeah.
put a quarter in for your cart, get it back when you put it back. Oh, yeah. So I do know that there are some people that use those plastic bags for other things. I mean, they don't get recycled, they don't get thrown in the trash. Well, eventually they get thrown in the trash because they got dog doo-doo in them, but you know what I'm saying? They don't just get thrown away, they're used.
That's
They're
very
re-
small.
they're
And I think that's
repurposed.
mentioned here, in here, it's
But it's
pointed
very
out.
small
Yeah.
percentage that get reused.
I hate those damn plastic bags. They get in my way when I forget bags and I have to get the groceries in the plastic bags. They irritate me. It does. It's one of those psychotic things in my head, but it really does, because it's like, oh God, now I gotta do something with these stupid bags. Because I don't wanna throw them in the trash. They can't go in recycling. So I have to do something with them. So I give them to my neighbor.
They collect in the back of my car until I go to Walmart or grocery store, and then I put them in the,
No, I give them to my neighbor who, cleans out the litter box once a day and does things like that, because she uses it.
if you want to send me that report, I'll take a look and see if there's any information that might be able to fit well in here. And essentially, the public outreach, number one, that option is very similar to what we had in the EPS report, because it's, the kinds of things that we would do for public outreach is very similar, so that section's similar.
No, I think that's a good thing. I mean, awareness is part of it. People don't know.
Right. And that's the least expensive option on
Yeah.
here, too. The option under number 2, Charlene had suggested, so we added that. And we'll add what Ellen just suggested, like a reusable bag collection and reuse.
Yeah, because every once in a while, even your grocery stores and places like that will have a free reusable bag, just because they're trying to stick it in your head that that's where you want to shop, or extremely low cost bags. I mean, if you pay for $1 for a bag that you're going to reuse again and again and again and again, sometimes they get used for crafts and they get used to take stuff home to the grandkids, and one year I used them for wrapping paper for Christmas presents, because I just had so many of them. You know, so there's all kinds of ways to get them.
Number 3 was a significant option under EPS report. On this one, I'll let you decide if you want to keep it or not. We don't really, with the EPS, the schools were a significant user of the EPS trays, and we had some other users, so there was an impact there that what you could actually notice if the county adopted a policy for county and allied agencies to reduce the use, but we don't have a lot of agencies that use this plastic bags. So, it's up to you whether you think we should bother including it or not. The main thing, if we did, is more of a county taking a leadership role, even though that's not a big impact. I mean, so either way is fine, but I figure that you guys decide if you want to keep it or not.
Well, it's not a volume thing, but it's a principle thing that shows that the county is trying to take a step in the right direction, I think. So as an example.
Well, it can't hurt anything to leave
Yeah.
it there, so if that's what you want to do, we'll just leave it, that's fine. So the 4th one is the legislation, and we have 3 different things under here. So one is the actual ban of the single-use plastic bag. The second one is to establish a fee at the point of purchase. And the third legislative option would be to require alternatives to conventional single-use plastic bags to be used in place of the conventional bags. And of course, any of these can also be mixed and matched. But they could be 3 discrete things.
On C, when they bring in their reusable bags for shopping and stuff, I don't know that they still do it, but quite a few of the retail and grocery stores, if you brought your own bags in, it was like 3 cents for every bag that you used to bag your groceries and stuff up.
Right.
That you got back as kind of like a rebate. And I don't think they do it anymore, but they did for a while.
Yeah, I'm not sure they do it anymore or not.
Because Walmart used to do it, and Weiss used to do it, and there was another grocery store that did it, Giant maybe. But those that I know, because they did it for me when I brought my bags in. But yeah, I think Trout's over in Woodsboro still does it. But that's not in Carroll County.
So, I mean, there could be something where the stores are encouraged to provide money back for using your own bags. I think maybe that would go under number 2, incentives to promote reduced usage. But if you require them to do it, then we would put that under C.
That's where I was talking about.
Okay, so you're saying require the retailers to give.
Well, I don't know. I'm just stating that that's something that they used to do. They have done in the past, and for some reason they
Like
stopped.
point of
doing it.
interest, you're not saying to put it in.
Yeah, I'm not saying it should be there or not be there. I'm just something that I know was done in the past that hasn't been done lately. So.
Right.
So, and do we have in here a specific example of, in A here, in the types of potential types of bans for county contracting, and not so much for the, the allied partners, or does that fall under allied partners? It wouldn't necessarily be a ban on the government agencies and departments from using single-use plastic bags, but any contracting, bids and specs or anything that goes out for large events you could have an option in there for
Are you talking about A under number 4 legislation, or are you talking about under number 3 county policy?
Well, for either one, I just wasn't sure if this was in here, maybe somewhere else that I hadn't seen it, but I think I mentioned it before as one potential way to reduce through, not necessarily legislative action, but policy.
Policy.
Would be, any contracting, account for single-use plastic bags.
So I don't think that's in here now. I can add that under number 3 as another, in addition to allied agencies, those who are contracted with, could apply to them.
Yeah, I think that fits better in 3, probably better, fits better
Yeah,
in
it's a county
policy.
So when you're talking about the other allied agencies, you're talking about things that they themselves do. What about things, for instance, when you have something going on out at the Ag Center and they have vendors there, it doesn't, how do you?
Right, yeah, I don't know if they're considered an allied agency or not,
Well,
but,
yeah, the county ag center is part of the county, and they are.
well,
what I'm-
the
what I'm
Farm
saying
Museum is a county facility. I'm not sure that the Ag Center is.
That might be tough. Because you basically, if I interpret what you're thinking, is the county would basically have a policy that says that anybody that has vendors or exhibits or whatever within the county facility cannot use plastic bags.
Yep, that's what I'm saying. Have you ever been to the home show they have out at the ag center? You get seriously, you get a lot of vendors out there who you have
No, they
the
do.
reusable bags with their logo on it. It's advertising, so they can write it off as advertisement.
Yeah.
They're giving you the freebies in that bag, so you now have a reusable bag.
Those are thicker though, aren't they usually? Those bags are.
The reusable bags or the plastic
No,
bags?
the plastic bags they give away are a little thicker, aren't they? The ones that I've seen, they're not the same as the grocery bag.
They might be the number 4s, though, because I think the 4s are.
But there's
are
still
that-
a problem. You know what I'm saying? There's still,
Yeah, the volume is a lot less of those than compared to the thinner mill, but
I will look into.
Yeah, like
because the Ag
clothing, like
Center-
clothing
curious because-
store
Let
bag,
me look into
take
whether
out
that's a
bag.
facility, because if it, we could add that under number 3 for the policies. Well, I guess even the Farm
take the Farm
Museum.
Museum, for instance, they have the wine show out there. And when you buy things at the wine show, are they in the little plastic bags that we shouldn't be using, or are they in recyclable bags?
Right. Yeah, the Farm Museum, Historical Society, there was somebody else. They're among probably the few,
Carroll Arts Center.
that have a retail operation. But yeah, so that can be,
But if the county has a policy not to use any plastic bags in any of its allied or partners, wouldn't that include, that would include that? That's part of the
I don't
county
know what
policy.
you mean by allied partner.
they are
Okay.
agencies that we help fund but don't necessarily have direct control over. For example, the schools. We fund them, but we don't have any control at all
Okay.
over their decision.
So the Ag Center is a county, how do I say this? It kind of belongs to the county, but the programs that are out there are funded by the University of Maryland. But the actual Ag Center itself,
They lease the property
Who has the rent?
to someone to
Who
operate
charges for the
it.
use? It's the county use, right? Who owns
the
it?
Ag Center,
County owns it, right?
I will check that.
Yeah.
I believe
that makes
so.
a difference.
I mean, you've got the Ag Center out there, you've got the extension offices out there, the
Museum.
4-H offices out there, the fair, whatever group they are, they're out there, or they use the premises, but the actual leasing and renting of the premises is done by somebody down in the Daniel Shipley building who is not part of the extension office and all those kind of people. It's I think it is the county. I could be wrong, but I do believe so.
I'll double check just so we know, because we can always add them to the list if, but, so that gives us 3, like an A, B, and a C under number 3. So we'd have the events at county and allied facilities, contractors, and, or maybe that's just an A and a B. I guess it's A and a B under number 3. Under the second, under option B, under number 4, for the legislative stuff, I have a little side note there. I need to, there is a difference between a fee and a tax, and I wanted to make that clear in here. But the definition of a fee, I need to check into this and see how this actually meets the criteria. Just because I think it's good for us to know whether it goes in here or not. I think it's a good thing to know.
I was surprised we're, saying, secondly, fees are voluntary. Party paying the fee has the option of not utilizing the governmental service.
Right, and that's why I said, it doesn't
Yeah.
seem like this completely, when you look at the fees that jurisdictions charge, it doesn't seem to quite fit into either definition. That's why I want to look into it. I mean, typically, what they're referencing there is usually a service that you have to pay for, but that you don't have to have. Like taxes you have to pay for, and they kind of fund general government. When we had the stormwater fee legislation passed, it was a fee, not a tax, because,
Just one moment.
yeah, I mean, not everybody had to pay it. They didn't all pay the same amount. And so maybe this,
It also went to a designated project, right, of stormwater management,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
as
was,
opposed to a general fund.
right.
Yeah.
So,
I think that's the key.
yeah, and so I just want to be
Of
sure
that
how this
fee goes
fits.
towards
Yeah.
litter cleanup or education on bag
Right.
reduction.
But right now, we don't have a program,
Right.
and that's where I think,
Uh,
let's make sure this is paying for a service. I think that's what's missing. It's not, there's not a service or a program that it would be funding right now. So, I'm just mentioning that as something I want to look at, just so we have the answer to that.
I apologize. I have to go outside. I understand that the fire department is there, and my van is on fire.
Oh,
Not parked next to my car, truck is.
I was gonna ask the same question.
No, it was one backing over, remember?
Okay.
how does that happen?
That's environmental issue. Great. Is it her car or a car next to her is on fire?
It's hers.
I don't know, I think she parked next to me, but you know what? Oh, well,
Insurance is for.
Well, they didn't say yours is on fire, so.
not yet.
Yeah, but it's close.
Do you want to go look?
I wanna go look, huh?
I would.
You'll be getting a call next.
We don't have to vote on anything right now, so you're good.
That's right.
I'll be back.
Yeah, I might take a peek too.
It's the lot on the side though, right? That way.
I assume so.
Yeah, I'm out there, but I'm kind of down on the end. Hopefully that's not where she
Yeah, I was against the road.
Hmm?
Yeah, I'm against the road.
No, I'm not that far over. I'm like in front of the building, but,
Full over there.
oh, well.
Right.
All right, so, do you have any other comments or thoughts on what we've got under options here? I didn't cover D, mandate. Oh, yeah, that's right. We had the fourth option under legislative, and that's to mandate that retailers implement an in-store recycling program. Right now, a lot of the retailers do it, Walmart, Target, the grocery stores, they all do this, and it's not mandatory, it's a voluntary thing. So I included this as an option. Now, of course, something the commissioners would want to consider whether they would want to do it, because right now you've got retailers doing it on a voluntary basis as part of environmental stewardship, and if it's mandated, then it takes away what they're getting out of that. So that's something they would have to decide, but that's included under other considerations, so. Did anybody have any other comments or thoughts under option?
No, I just sent you my comments, so
Okay,
minor.
thank you.
We
Yes,
didn't get
the-
any feedback, like, I guess, from the landfill, whether plastic bags are a problem there, blowing around, or coming in, or?
I have not contacted them myself.
I've do environmental work at other landfills. I haven't at the Carroll County landfill, but other ones in Maryland, active and former landfills. But the active landfills that I've worked at, there is debris, plastic bags especially, that blow.
I would think that would be the
around.
worst spot.
They try to compact the solid
for
stuff.
the litter of these bags.
Some of the landfills
I don't
will
know how
have,
much- They probably don't have any kind of breakdown of how much, how much time they spend going around.
a lot of
Around the
facilities
fence,
have
cleaning that up.
large
Yeah.
poles spaced regularly with like a wide cast net that
Okay.
catches some of them.
Yeah, but she's not okay. You know,
The car, what's her car?
it was
like?
her car.
Is it very badly damaged, or?
It's damaged pretty bad. The interior fire department did their fair share on it.
Oh, God.
I didn't even hear the sirens.
And it wasn't the side lot here. I didn't,
No,
well,
it's
I didn't
up-
see anything
much.
there.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's right here in the front.
In the front? Uh-oh.
Oh, in the visitor parking? Like
Yeah.
right in front of the entrance?
Next row back.
Oh,
That's right. Okay.
Well, whatever it is, it must have happened pretty quick, because I am parked in that same lot, and I came in late because of work, and I didn't see any smoke or anything.
I think the ashtray ignited.
Oh,
I was to say, how else does a car, just catch on fire when
Have
it's
to
turned
turn
off
it
and
off.
sitting there?
She's
If it's
discussing
electric-
with,
If it's electric, I can see it.
yes, it wasn't electric.
Mm.
I feel bad for her.
yeah, the insurance
Yeah.
company's gonna love
Is it a
that.
new car? Yeah.
Ashtray caught on fire.
Yeah.
That's what insurance is for.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just hope it takes care of it because I know, she's upset.
Oh, I don't blame her.
Yeah. All right, since we're still on air,
That could be under other, the safety of vehicles and. the
Oh. What was the last thing we were just talking about? On this?
At the landfill.
Oh, yeah, okay, so that's what I was gonna say, is I can, I'm going to have Maria, once we fix up these last few things here, well, what we're just talking about today, I'm gonna have Maria Myers review the report anyway, and I will ask her if she knows, what you're
It might
asking
be more
about.
Anecdotal, as far as yeah, it's a pain in the butt.
Yeah, I doubt that they have any record
Any
of
kind
that, but,
breakdown,
yeah, I'll check with her though.
You know what hit me actually on this document is it doesn't hit you that it's a big problem in this county.
Yet,
No, it doesn't even say yet. It says not a problem.
We don't have the statistics for the county. We kind of compare it to
That's
the
the
national
question.
average. and-
Exactly. The question is, yeah, it's a nationwide problem. But, there's nothing in here that says it's really significantly also a county problem here.
right.
Yeah, we don't have any, like Jesse said, we don't have any data to say
Well, they
whether it
did
is or
do
not.
some kind of survey of the watersheds and saw that there wasn't,
Right, but that's along the streams. And
Right.
remember, we have to be careful that we don't say, we did not find a significant litter problem in those stream assessments. And since that's the case, we don't want to make it like there is, because that's not good for our permit either. So,
All right, so, but that, I understand that, but it's
But, I mean,
still,
that was
there's
the
no
case, but yeah.
information that says we have a problem, and therefore, we need to do something about it.
that is right.
Well, we do have the
But there is-
recycling contamination issue and the inefficiencies of shutting down the recycling system to deal with the tangled bags.
That
And
doesn't come in there.
yeah, that might be something we could. I have a handwritten note. We could elaborate on that. Increase the value, because we talk about. Oh, okay. So let me find.
It is mentioned that it's a problem in landfill, but it doesn't.
In
it's a
general, yeah.
Yeah.
So we
Everything
say
is generalized to, yeah.
on page 3 in the first paragraph, we say Carroll County actively seeks to divert waste from the landfill. I think we ought to qualify that a little bit. Try to divert recyclable waste or. Recycling participation's gone up, great. Grocery stores do accept, bags, clog sorting equipment at the materials recovery facilities.
It does say they clog equipment, but it doesn't say that's a big a deal.
So at the end of the I have a note here, so as they are not biodegradable, reduction of the bags from the waste stream would help prolong the lifespan of the landfill, but I was thinking it would also increase the efficiency of the recycling and, the potential value of the recycling product and the cost of.
That's a good addition.
Increase efficiency and recycling values.
Yeah.
You could also put it into some context too, that, with the value of recycling going down, it's very important to have it as clean as possible.
The other thing that hit me was, is we're very careful to single out just the plastic bags to the grocery store, it's the thin stuff. We don't go after any other plastic bags, we just basically say, let's not touch any other plastic bags.
Well, I think we need to start, with a very specific group. And if at some point the commissioners pursue something and they feel like it's successful, they can expand it. I think you're going to have a much harder time if you include every plastic bag there is in any initial effort.
Well, did they single this out as the problem that they wanted us to investigate?
Plastic grocery bags,
Okay, well, that's
Grocery bags.
grocery, that's it.
Grocery
Okay,
bags.
so that's it.
or shopping bags, one or the other, but
Yeah,
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
not trash bag.
that was kind of what was talked
No,
about.
trash, yeah, trash bag would be another category.
Right,
Right.
yeah.
But I think that some bags are more palatable than others to take action on, from a political
Yeah.
point of view,
You may.
or from what the public would accept too. So, again, it's not to say that couldn't be looked at in the future, but I think for our purposes, we need to stick with our,
Well, if they say grocery
Focus.
bags, that's what this does.
Yeah, grocery bags, that it does.
And we know that our recycling facility doesn't accept them, that's surely for a reason. So yeah, we're going back to kind of elaborating on that point. Might tie back into that,
I think it's good to emphasize, particularly, you put this in the context of the EPS one that we did too. These things that we're targeting here are items that are hard to recycle, that are very, the recycling rate for them are very low. So that's really the reason I think we're going after it more than environmental damage to our
Yeah,
county.
yeah. That's the reason.
Yeah. Because these are the kind of things.
But then the
that don't fit
implications
well
are,
into their single
what you
stream.
just said is fine, but then the implications are, so what does that mean in terms of lifetime of the landfill? Or what does that mean in terms of biodegradable action on what's in the landfill? We don't know quantitatively what it is. Slows stuff down, I guess. It probably slows the breakdown process. It clogs some of the machinery.
Right, I mean, I don't,
Does that cost, and that costs the taxpayer something, which we don't have, I guess, data on that.
these are things that we can't really do, but we could say as a next step that if they feel that they need more support or data to, for whatever, that would need to be looked into probably by DPW. But there are things that are beyond what we should and could be doing. That's a lot of study, I think. But that could be something that we suggest to them that somebody else looks at. How would it impact the lifespan of the landfill? Would it be a benefit?
And yeah, it's not clear.
And the quality of recycling product, the saleable quality,
See, what would happen if everybody stopped using plastic bags? We don't know. In terms of the efficiency of the landfill, or we don't know. Supposedly there'd be more creatures alive because they wouldn't be choking them. There'd be, I don't know. I mean, it's just not obvious.
Do we have a statistic on the national average for volume?
Well, the only thing that I saw is that one statement that said, if the U.S. consumes 100 billion SUPDs per year, that indicates that as much as 50 million plastic bags become litter during that time period nationwide.
There are places on roads that are really disgusting with plastic bags, but not here, that I've seen.
Yeah, the most common place I see them are along the reservoir, actually, kind of hung up in the trees, and a lot of fishermen bring their bait and snacks and whatnot in it and leave it there, and people drive over the bridge and throw stuff out the window. And
litter.
it's the most common place I find them.
You'll also see them along the woodsy edges of where they have the Little League fields and stuff, because people do the same thing. They throw juice boxes and stuff in them and haul them to the fields to watch the kids play, and then they just blow across the field and into the woods.
Well, there's the aesthetics part of it, too.
I'm glad we augmented the section there on, maybe that was you, Brenda, I don't know, or somebody else. Thank you for, I had initially put in some content about what they do when they actually do recycle the plastic. So they make Trex lumber out of it.
Yeah.
They make
that's good.
clothing out of it. And I see more and more stories of, oh, well, it breaks down into smaller pieces of plastic. So while our goal might be to keep it out of the landfill, reduce the use of them completely would be the best case scenario, because it's one thing you just keep manufacturing just as many, and instead of putting them in the landfill, you recycle them and turn them into new usable products. Well, those break down. I see people want to build roads out of them. I said, well, think of all the wear and tear on this plastic road. You're going to have bits of plastic everywhere. That seems like a terrible idea to me. So yeah, it's a multi-headed beast to go after. I mean, I think
it is.
You want to encourage recycling so that it's not in the landfill, but then again, where does it ultimately end up? As debris and.
But that's what comes out of this also to me is there's a need to have an awareness campaign for sure, at a minimum, for people. They don't realize this stuff.
It'd be better to reduce the use of them than to recycle.
Is the key word.
Yeah.
All this single use that we have, whether it's plastic or.
I mean, that's a no-brainer. That would be a good step for the county to take.
It's probably the best step, is the public education outreach to try to convince people not to use them at all.
Because most people want to do the right thing environmentally if they knew.
It's the lesser of the evils,
There's a lot we don't know. That comes out too.
Oh. Are there any other, I'll add what we've talked about today. Is there anything else that you noted when you took a look at it? Like I said, I tried to comments that we had previously, I tried to add where somebody suggested something.
I think what I need to do is I didn't go to a lot of these websites, and I want to go to the websites, and go deeper, a little bit deeper. Except your dark website, I'm not going to.
Look on that. I'll try to fix that one as soon as possible. So are we at a point where if we get some time and read through this, can we still edit comments, or are we wait?
wanna wait
I think
till
we
you
have the,
Done your stuff.
I think on the substance level, you're pretty good. At this level, you can now get it to the more polished level, right?
Yeah, I mean, I need to add the stuff we talked about today.
Yeah.
So I'll do that, and then, like I said, I wanted to have Maria Myers look at it, review it. So if we're doing any other sort of deeper review like that, it needs to be done now. We had said we'd have it done by March, like approvable in March. So we want to stick with that, if not sooner. I don't know if we could do it by next month, but if Commissioner Frazier does have legislation that goes through in the General Assembly, gets introduced, this is information he could be really using right now. The quicker we can get it done, the better is the point. So if if you want to look at anything in more detail, I would do that now. I can still have Maria look at it, even if we're going to add a few other things.
Well, for the next meeting, you're going to try to have basically a final copy, right?
Yeah, it would be.
Yeah, so can we have another week or two just to dig a little deeper, and just in case?
Yep.
so we have now, we've populated the pros and cons and other considerations, so I think we have all the different types of content in here, but there may be some stuff for Brenda and to add more of a certain type of content. But I guess my question is, at what point do we want to start looking at the grammar and spelling and things like that?
I think that's the next copy. She's going to try to wrap everything up and do all the grammar and the final.
Right, and I have people in the office can be looking at the proofreading for that kind of stuff too. I mean, not that you shouldn't point something out if you find it, but I mean, I think your time is more, I value your time more for the content than for that stuff. If I can get somebody else to look at, look for proofreading stuff.
Because I'm going to go back in and look at these. I got these 3 sources I wanted to address, so I didn't want to go in there and if I see, oh yeah, you know what, this whole thing's in past tense. Should I suggest in a comment on the side, like, hey, here's some grammar that caught my eye, or just wait?
What I'd say is if you're in there for something else, for content, and you see that, go ahead and note it. Yeah. I just didn't want everybody to think they had to spend a lot of time combing through it to find all the little things now when, I'll have somebody proofread the final draft. This will probably be one of them.
I like doing that.
I just can't help myself.
Well, I can't either when I read something, so I understand that. It's like you can't get past you can't see the other things through that. You have to fix it first.
But I know I'll miss it next time if I put it off for.
Is there anything? What is? Does anybody know the dates? Like if we have a couple weeks here, so the 23rd be the 30th would be 2 weeks from now. Is that right? Or well, let's just say if you can do it by,
2 weeks.
Yeah. Okay.
So let's do the 30th.
Anything you want to add
Anything
to it?
goes.
By the 30th.
Yeah.
Right. But suggest content, not just, don't just say, look at this, or give me a question. I need real information to put in, because otherwise I'm going to have to spend more time looking into it in order, I won't be able to actually start working on the final if you give me more stuff to look into. I need actual content to put in. Yeah.
So it didn't do me any good to say I needed a visual on some of the things you did because I'm creating work for you. Is that what you're saying?
No, I would do that anyway. I always add visuals.
Okay.
I just, like I said, they don't translate well from Google Docs to Word. I think we had a problem with that with one of our other documents where things were funky because they
Yeah.
don't go well back and forth.
Yeah.
We good then?
I think we're good.
With that?
Good.
Is there any other business that we need to address?
I have one minor item, it says I'm expiring. I don't feel like it, but it says here I'm expiring, so now what?
You're looking pretty good for somebody that's expiring.
Yeah,
good
like
call.
right now, Kurt, or
Pretty
what?
close,
I
2
mean,
weeks.
And two,
How did I miss that?
oh my.
Says I expire in February.
Raise your right hand.
I do solemnly
No,
expire.
I was not aware of that, I guess. I will make sure the Commissioner's office is aware.
So what do they send, expiration notice?
What I'll do
They're gonna
is,
send you an AED.
I will draft.
Actually, you know, I'm
a-
expired as a federal employee too, because I'm not working there either.
Oh,
What I'll do is I'll draft a reappointment letter and send it up.
Okay.
So hopefully that would expedite.
yeah. You're stuck.
I didn't, there's other options. No.
And we have.
You
we
need
have
something
one
to do,
vacancy,
right?
too. We have a vacancy, right?
We
Do
do
we?
have one, yes.
Yeah, okay.
Could have two.
David's in September.
Yeah, but I
Because
took
you
over
were filling
Karen.
somebody else's
Right.
I
term.
took Karen, I think. I'm
You were
not sure.
filling Amy's term,
Amy.
Yeah.
right. So that's why yours expires in September, is because
Right.
you were filling the rest of her term. So, thankfully, we have a little bit more time for you,
Right. September's a long way.
Yeah.
comparatively speaking.
Motion to adjourn?
I move we adjourn.
I'll second that.
Okay.
Right.